class of 2013. Before I begin, I want to first express my gratitude and appreciation for this honor of delivering this commencement address. I was honestly surprised that you seniors would want me to give you your last lesson. I guess you all wanted to hear how to avoid the better freshman 15, or how to live the gym life. Maybe you're waiting to hear some words of wisdom and comfort as you go off into the real world. Maybe, just maybe, you want to know if your old English teacher can actually do what she's been teaching you all these years about how to instill rhetoric into your speeches. Regardless of the reason, I am deeply honored to give you this one last lesson. But I'm going to be candid with you. I don't really have one. Life isn't about going down a path with explicit instructions on how to get it right. Believe me, I've done my fair share of wrong in order to get some things right so that I could end up before you now. No, life is about taking your experiences and embarking on journeys where you don't always know if you've made the right decision. The poem "The Road Not Taken" by Robert Frost always comes to mind when I think of major life changes, such as the ones that you guys are going to embark on very shortly. Many readers see the final lines, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thinking that they must do everything differently, that they must not follow the crowd. As much as I am able to see that interpretation of the poem, I always refer to the previous lines where the speaker says that both paths wanted where and looked very much the same. Instead, what I take away from the poem is not the need to be a trailblazer at all times. Though if you are, that's great. But what is more important is that you make a choice and travel your road. We all have free will. If faced with a decision on which road to choose, regardless of how adventurous or mundane it is, whether you are inspired to make your legacies immortal, like the Greek and Roman gods or not, make your decisions and believe that you have chosen wisely. That being said, I had to choose a path for my last bit of instruction for the day. As I stood in my own yellow wood, gazing down both roads, I thought about either giving you a lifelong lesson about what to do in the real world, or letting you in on the lessons that you have taught me over the years. Because of the various personalities of you students, ranging from flamboyant to quiet, hyper to relaxed, I have learned so much, so I decided on the latter. Lesson 1, always be ready always be ready and excited for the unexpected. Parents, your children were amazing sports the years that I taught them. No matter what I threw at them, figuratively and literally, they were always ready and mostly willing participants in the chaos that sometimes did arise. They often heard the words, "just be ready," in my class, and instead of allowing fear to possess them, they would enter through the classroom that day ready to face any challenge. Although entropy could have resulted because of the unpredictability of the situation, you all came through each moment soaring high over the expectations that I had of you. You taught me that as scary or unpredictable a situation might be, and regardless of my level of preparedness, there is no option but to face it and make the best of what will come. Thank you for teaching me the importance of being resilient. Lesson 2, very important. Question everything. And I mean everything. Even the things that already make perfect sense. From the times when you were small and adorable, I am sure that your parents remember how you asked an endless stream of questions. I have learned more than I ever thought possible, the importance of being inquisitive. Why? But why? Why not? The zealous need to know everything. What may have facilitated this constant quest for the answer to why may be the teaching methods that encouraged you to ask why. I'm sure the TOK students out there are asking themselves right now, what is why? And if they weren't, they are now. A thirst for knowledge. The bright students and successful people in life are those who know they don't always have the answers and are unafraid to ask questions. Thank you for reminding me of the importance of asking questions and also of searching for answers. Lesson 3, embrace the random. You, the eclectic class of 2013, know exactly what I mean by random. Sometimes the things you did didn't make sense. And sometimes the things you wore didn't make sense. Like the Batman costume worn to class, or the random hats from fast food restaurants. But with these random acts also came laughter and spontaneous moments of joy where I remembered once again why I fell in love with teaching in the first place. Of course, that was concealed at the time. Because of time spent with you, I even started to take on some of your mannerisms. And I love it because it means I've allowed myself to become comfortable with the random side of me. I wouldn't change these acts of random behavior because they are the impressions that you've left on me and on the school. Thank you for allowing me to embrace my quirks. Lesson 4, be a friend, especially when it isn't easy. The way this class has gone from a miscellaneous group of students to a caring group of friends has astounded me. I've witnessed some unlikely friendships emerge during the 4 years where you have all shown faith in one another. The ways that some of you demonstrate altruism is a lesson we could all stand to learn and apply. And the way that you choose to demonstrate your love for someone is often hilarious, like the Courtney song. While other times, heartwarming. Like all relationships, your friendships have their mercurial moments. But what remains when you leave the halls of Windermere is the love that you have for your friends. Though I might add that this is the only class where you recognize your love for each other by telling each other you hate each other. Quite the paradox. At any rate, thank you for teaching me to look for friends in unexpected places. Many times in the past, I have had mixed feelings about the graduating classes who have left Windermere Prep for larger and newer environments. While happy for your moving on, I am worried that you will get lost in the crowd, and that you'll become followers instead of the leaders that I know each Windermere Prep grad can and should be. Honestly, I'm worried that you just won't find your fit, and that you won't fit in. Whether your future colors are orange and blue or garnet and gold, my worries have come true with that last statement. You won't fit in. But that's exactly why I'm excited for you to leave the halls of Windermere Prep and hopeful about your beginnings of your journeys into unknown territories. You won't fit in because you were not designed to settle with being part of the crowd. You were not designed to do what the rest of your peers at your colleges and universities are going to do. You were not designed for containment according to someone else's plan. No, you were not designed to be average. When I think of this graduating class and how much you don't fit in, I am deeply pleased. As students who have spent years at this institution, 4 of you, 13 in fact, you have had a chance to grow into balanced and principled young adults. You have had a chance to embrace your eccentricities and thrive as a result of the passions you have developed and been able to cultivate while in the safe environment here at Windermere. You are no average students by any means. And I'm not just referring to your grade point averages. In this class alone, we have gifted students who are risk takers, writing plays, organizing charity drives and events, leading teams to victories when we were surely the underdogs, and speaking to professionals in the medical field, to name a few. Each of you strives to be an achiever. No, you are no average students. You are the ambitious young men and women that your future friends will aspire to be. You are the graduates that this community can be proud of. And you are also the individuals who have many opportunities that will open themselves to you because of your unflinching determination to be exactly what you want to be. Many of you, being the dreamers, thinkers, and planners that you are, have already mapped out the courses of your lives. Because of your ambition, you have already established your major and have a plan of action regarding how you're going to achieve that. That's great. Some of you are going to college without a clue as to what you're going to do. That's great too. Regardless of the choices that you make in your future careers, be passionate by taking ownership and pride in that role. Ownership in your profession is the difference between being mediocre and being inspiring. It's not about wearing a title, putting a blanket label on what you do. It's more about your becoming your vocation, actually pursuing your calling. In your future endeavors, it is not enough to simply show up each day and expect greatness to happen. You don't have to be a workaholic, but you must be dedicated and determined to excel at your craft. For you graduates, it will be unacceptable to live the life of a person who moves throughout his or her day knowing exactly what is going to happen without any hopes or actions to fire you up for the next day. that type of life will be a contradiction to the ones that you are leading right now. You haven't done it yet, so why start now? Since you are no average students, I challenge you, I implore you to keep moving in the direction of a person leading a purpose-driven life, ever growing, ever learning, ever questioning. It's simply not enough to exist and allow life to happen to you. Instead, become a collector of ideas and meaningful moments that will shape you into who you want to become. You don't want to wake up one day and wonder how the heck you ended up where you are. Instead, you want to have a purpose-driven life where you establish your goals, create a plan, and actually act on it. Okay? Don't just have a plan, do something. All right? It allows you the ability to enjoy the fact that everything you have is there for a reason. It gives you a sense of fulfillment in your vision that you did what you wanted to do. Before I end this address, I could tell you how I feel about you. You know, how much I love you and I'll miss you. And, you know, Winter Prep won't be the same without you. I could even tell you how blessed I am to know you and to have been a part of your lives. And that my life has been forever altered because of the relationships I've made not only with you, but some of your amazing parents as well. But I'm not going to do that because that would be too predictable. And those students that I've had know that I don't like being predictable. Instead, I'm going to tell the audience what I did with this speech. Your children, or your family members, gave me words that I wanted to incorporate that embody who they are. Each individual student has a word that's been a part of this speech. Because I could not be where I am without you, I made sure to connect each word to this address. Some of you were bold enough to raise your hand so that I could see you. Others of you didn't. That's just as fine that's fine as well. The reason I included you in this final lesson is that I wouldn't be here without you. And I also wanted to be sure that you were paying attention. For the last time as your teacher, I win. Parents. Parents, ask your children about their word later. Last, though, I do need to reveal the final word that the students thought represented the class of 2013. They had no idea I was going to do any of this, so it's a surprise to them as well. Though if they knew, they probably would have given me a more challenging word. My students have said that English teachers can find meaning where there is no meaning. A way of looking at the ordinary and making it more sophisticated and complicated than it really might be. There's no better time to prove them right than right now. Class of 2013, your chosen word, by majority vote, is Thank you, Mr. Nazario. Briefly, here's how I analyze that word and how it applies to you. Told you I could find meaning in everything. While many may see the word as uncertainty and wavering of decision or character, when applied to the Windermere Prep graduating class of 2013, I see and hear your contemplation with an attempt to understand the uncertain. I hear and think of times when you may not know the answers to the questions you are inevitably going to ask, but that you will find the answers. I see and the ellipses that follow and know that there's always more to come from you, each of you. So while might be misconstrued by the world to mean uncertainty, I know that when it comes to a WPS graduate, it means you're just getting started. In case you haven't realized it by now, you are no average student. And because of that, you challenge us teachers to work harder than any other teachers. And I say that with gratitude because if it weren't for you and all that you bring to our classrooms, it will be extremely difficult to become the teachers that we aspire to be. I believe that every single day we are preparing ourselves for the next part of our lives. We may not know how a simple action or person might impact our future, but each moment that we experience is getting us ready for what's coming next. Graduates, you and your families have each impacted my life in this school in so many ways, and we all thank you for that. One last thought, be allergic to average, be attracted to greatness, thrive. Thank you and congratulations, Scholarship.